Caught in the crossfire. Caught in the...
What's up, guys? Lance the Obscure Movie Guy coming to you once again with another fun-filled, fact-filled video that you probably won't care about, but we're going to do it anyways, trying to change the world one post at a time. And today we're going to be talking about a film from across the pond from Hopwood Films. Today we're talking about Bad Things.
There is something out there. It doesn't want us here, and it doesn't want us home. It spoke to me, whispered.
This virus is the most advanced tech on the planet, and this new strain is so different. The host won't even know what's inside them. I believe it's sentient now.
Kiss this, bitch!
Bad Things came out in 2024, and it's finally starting to make some rounds here late in 2025 and into 2026. It is written and directed by Anthony Thornton Hopwood from Hopwood Films. It tells the tale of stranded teenagers in a forest that have to band together in order to stop a viral outbreak with little to no information on where it came from or how to stop it. Now, the film's going to grab your attention within the first 5 minutes. It's got a really cool opening sequence where two girls are in some sort of facility having a relationship. A guard shows up, doesn't like what he sees. Unfortunately, one of the girls gets hurt. The other one's eyes change. You as the viewer don't really know why. And the guard subsequently kills himself, which seems a bit extreme given the circumstances, but you're not sure as the viewer if this is a medical facility, if it's a military facility, if it's a prison. But things go awry very quickly. Now, after that opening sequence, we're introduced to a group of teenagers that are essentially on some sort of survival expedition, some sort of survival retreat, learning how to survive in the wild from some counselors on how to better themselves, I guess, as teenagers and better prepare themselves for the world in which they're about to explore. It's a very interesting concept, and you do get a nice introduction of characters. And I will say that each of the characters, and this is what I can appreciate about most films, a lot of films get this wrong, but each character is very much different from the next one. A lot of films, we find that some characters is basically a carbon copy of another one, so then it asks the question, well, why did you need two of the same type of character? So you get this introduction of characters, and they're all a little bit different. One's a bit of a jock, one's a bit of a posh girl, one is a bit of a survival nerd who's kind of been, prepared for this his whole life. One, he wants to be in the military. So each individual character is a little bit different than the last one. Now, heading into the second act of this film, things start to get a little creepy and suspicious, and the girl from the opening scene, who's apparently escaped the facility in which she was in, shows up, and it kind of gives you some very Stranger Things type vibes. She kind of gives you 11 vibes, and you're not 100% sure what's up with this chick. Is she an alien? Is she a demon? Is she something else? Is she on their side? Is she on her side? Is she a bad guy? Is she a good guy? There's a lot of questions that happen when this girl shows up, and you're just kind of on edge, watching things play out. Now, essentially, what you do kind of figure out with her showing up and a couple of things that happen after that is that she's got some sort of virus, it would seem. And she's turning people basically into things like her. But again, you don't really know if she's an alien, demon, monster, creature. And you're also not really sure how the virus spreads. Is it something in the water? Is it through sexual contact? Is it through spit and vomit? So there's still, as you're leaning into this film and finding out a little bit more about the characters, you're not really finding anything a whole lot more about the virus itself. Now, I don't want to give too much away in the way of the plot or spoil the reveal at the end, but going into the third act of the movie, very late into the movie, you do finally get a true understanding, the 5 W's, who, what, when, where, and why, what is going on with not just this girl, but the virus and the, as I referred to them as, like the species people that she is making more of. And you finally get this reveal towards the end of this film Really interesting story, a bit of an original take on some things that are very pressing as we move into 2026 with artificial intelligence and robots and things taking over the world. So it definitely plays into the demise of human as mankind would see it and things coming from the future, what we can expect. So this is a pretty original story, a pretty cool story. It's pretty well executed as well. It's well acted by most of the young actors. I don't really know a whole lot about anybody in this cast. Like I said, it's from Hopwood Films. It's across the pond. I wouldn't say it's a foreign film, but it's definitely not American. But I don't know a whole lot about the actors themselves. I hadn't really seen any of these people before, and I think they all did a pretty admirable job with everything. The storyline, like I said, is fairly original and pretty well written. Um, and the special effects, a lot of the special effects are pretty cool. Especially there's some very subtle special effects, especially in the beginning. Like I said, within the first 5 minutes, just the eyes change of the girl in the facility was a really cool effect. So some of the computer generated stuff was actually pretty cool. As far as any negatives go, I don't really have a whole lot of negatives. There was a little bit of a lull after that opening sequence. Within your attention gets grabbed from the get go, and within the first 5 minutes, you're kind of like, okay, this is going to be cool. This is weird. Got a weird girl. You've got a guard that decided to off himself as opposed to trying to kill the girl. What's going on there? And then you get a little bit of a lull as you head into the next 20 minutes of the film with the introduction of these characters. Things do start to pick up again when the mysterious girl does show up in the woods. And like I said, you do kind of get Stranger Things type vibes from her. She's got these powers that you don't really understand, or know where they're coming from or how she's doing it. Um, I guess my biggest negative connotation with this film is the actual reveal itself, the five W's, as I like to say, because it's very, very late into the film. The runtime on the film is about 90 minutes in, and you're almost at the 1 hour mark when things finally come to light as to what's going on. And the only problem with that is you left everything for that segment, as opposed to sprinkling little bits of information throughout the course of the film. You left everything for like almost the very end. And unfortunately, when you get the reveal, um, for me, it didn't land as hard as I would have hoped because I'm more happy that I finally got to understand what's going on as opposed to really being happy. I was more happy that I got a reveal than what the reveal actually was. Does that make sense? Like you're more relieved that you finally like, oh, okay, now I finally understand what all of this meant. And you just kind of get this relief that you finally have an understanding, and it doesn't land as hard as I thought it would um, because of that. So they left all of the information for the end of the film as opposed to trying to spread a little bit here and there. Just give you some clues, just some breadcrumbs, something to deal with. But they left everything for, very, very much towards the end of the film, and you're just kind of get this relief like, finally. That's really my only negative connotation with the film. But for the most part, I did enjoy this film, and you can definitely see the inspiration from other films like Stranger Things and Species. You're going to get a little bit of those feels watching this film. And like I said, I think the cast they did a really good job acting. With everything, the special effects are pretty cool, and for the most part, as of right now, it's a pretty original storyline. Realistically, I think as we move forward, and again, I'm trying to not give away too much, but I think as we move forward with technology, we'll see more and more of these types of storylines probably try to get played out. But I think Anthony did a good job trying to, especially considering that the film essentially came out in 2024. It's just now starting to gain some traction and gain some attention. So I think he did a good job coming up with an original storyline kind of early on in the going with the technology that we're dealing with for today. So definitely check out Bad Things. Not Very Bad Things. That's a completely different movie, a much older movie. Check out Bad Things, written and directed by Anthony Thornton Hopwood. It's currently available on most of your streaming platforms to rent or buy: Apple TV, YouTube, AMC Plus. So track it down, check it out. Like, subscribe, and comment to my YouTube channel. Check me out on Facebook and Instagram, and I'll see everybody in the next video.